All right. Hello, welcome again. And we are going to be starting the New Year game session Silver Bullet in here. All right, interesting. Because since the London Open session, which was here, price eventually delivered the target that I was looking for here on the downside, the suspension block, and then basically turned around and traded higher ever since, trading almost 500 handles higher since London, and opening with quite a large premium opening range gap, uh, over 320 handles in size, and during the opening range kept on pushing higher into some old opening range gap, which is exactly, I will show you, this one here. It's Monday into Tuesday, so Tuesday's opening range gap from July 14, and that's what I'm using. General target or general idea where it might likely be going is this 30,094 even buy sell liquidity. Do I think it's gonna go there today? I wouldn't say so. I mean, it can, but that's hell of a range still. So I wouldn't necessarily bet on that right away. But if it does, then that's fine. So yeah, taking into consideration where we are in terms of the range and how does it look like at this moment, we are definitely pressed into deep premium at the moment, which right away makes me not willing to be a buyer just because, unless it reaches some discount array or some discount first. Currently it's really expensive and it's really extended to the upside. So I suppose my idea for the 10 to 11 silver bullet will be to either look for any potential shorts, for either retracement purposes or trading to some discount arrays, like this current this current opening range gap. We haven't traded into it at all, so it's quite open still, and maybe I would be able to base that or frame that with the old opening range gap from Tuesday, July 14. Yeah, that would potentially maybe set up something. Right, because yeah, since we opened here, we kept running on buy side, but never really reverted back to running some sell side. And we do have some relatively cool lows that I like, and that pool of liquidity is residing here. So you have technically relatively cool lows with a little bit of inefficiency linked to it also, which is something that I would like as a potential draw on the downside. That's kind of like the sell side liquidity, where it resides, and this inefficiency. And yeah, aiming for that, I never need to even touch into the opening range gap, even, which, you know, that's something that could be possible. But nonetheless, let's zoom in a little bit here, just so I can see the candles better, because yeah, it's the chart is pretty stretched out due to the enormous opening range gap that we have. All right, and let's see, we traded to the lower octane of this higher opening range gap here. Nobody's closing below it as it is for now, and we'll see. This is the salsa liquidity pool that I'm framing initially. And truth to be told, if I could frame a 1 to 2 risk to reward gearing setup, that would be basically all out want or need for an execution. But yeah, right away this might be this this type of day that just continuously keeps on delivering higher, and just doesn't really offer anything else. And if that's the case, then let it be this way. So it just keeps grinding higher, making higher highs, and I don't want to necessarily try to pick a top inside of that. I would rather prefer to wait and see whether it could turn around first. All right, so we are breaking lower here. We have a potential bearish inversion for value gap here in play. Let's see, all of this is happening ahead of 10 a.m. So it's technically not something I will or should act on based on my model here. But this is interesting because we have a BSI and a CB basically overlapping. So we got attached to this potential inversion for value gap here, low. And I would be generally curious to see price around towards those equal lows here, sells a liquidity, and frame that as a potential idea. Yeah, that's still ahead of 10 a.m. So I can just watch and see what it does. Right, so another touch into this inversion. One minute until 10 a.m. starts. So far, the bodies are respecting the low of the inversion rather nicely. Let's see if it can offer a measure of a drop to the downside here. And we enter the 10 a.m. 10 a.m. Just now and right now, while trading into this inefficiency in here. Decent reaction here so far. The body is respecting the lower half. I like that. So let's see if we can get a speed bump. Anyhow, I'm not really that into jumping right away on this thing here, based on how strongly bullish we were trading all the time. I would just require a little bit more intel to get on board, I feel like, but nonetheless, if this can present some sensitivity here, that's reasonable, right? That's reasonable. But yeah, the volatility is really off the charts. Like it's insane measure of volatility right now. Like literally, like a micro contract is moving 100 handles back and forth in a couple of minutes, which is quite insane. If you compare to what we saw in the marketplace, like I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years ago. God damn it, 5 years ago, if you had like a one large range day that was larger than 100 handles, that was like a lot back then. And right now we are in the times where 100 handles is happening every other 15 minutes, which is quite insane, but nonetheless. We are trading back a little bit higher here. That's fine. Let's move this to 10 a.m. straight, and let's see if we can get a higher high of that. Yeah, so far this isn't presenting the signatures that I would like to see. Therefore, I'm expecting a higher high to form. And I will treat this, because it formed another pair of radical lows. I would like this to be another reason to take price lower at some point later this session. We'll see, obviously. We have plenty of time still to gyrate around. So yeah, generally I just don't want to be buying at a daily high because that's the current daily high after we moved higher over 600 handles or so. And yeah, that's quite extended into the premium, right? So keep on buying here to me is a little bit against the logic. So I rather let it go, and if it wants to climb still higher, then it does it without me. Or if it offers some idea that could attack any long chasers that would be found anywhere in here, and they will place their stop losses below this low, and definitely this low. So that's where the liquidity will be. I mean, that's where the liquidity is. And yeah, we have somewhat of relative equal highs being formed. So let's see, trading up into those may set up some reversal type of idea. We pierced relative equal highs here basically. Let's see. Let's see. So yeah, I mean, I'm watching if there is a potential volume imbalance in here, and if this candle closes higher, there would be, but not necessary now. Let's take this and move it here. So it took buy side again. It formed a fair value gap right here. So this one, if we could close below it, that would sound way better for a potential run to those relative lows. For example, here. Use a SMC indicator, bro. Well, not in here, my friend. Not in this area. I choose high touch over high tech. But well, let's see. I mean, this fair value gap in here could act as a potential inversion fair value gap if we could close below it. Let's see. Again, we are keep stretching higher. We are keep stretching into the upside. And if you think about this like a consolidation here, then price left the consolidation, returned back into it, then expanded away, then a retracement, reaccumulated, then expanded away again. And we could be at some point, some area of like making the smart money reversal. I'm not trying to predict that yet, but we could be. And we could be seeing lower prices after that. Let's see though. So we are gonna likely trade into this fair gap here, and I want to see whether it will hold for now or will we just give way right away. Because if we could close below it, I would consider the idea of using this with stop loss here and aiming for 1 to 2 type of setup. Like this, and not even needing those equal lows there to be, you know, content. But yeah, we would need to close below this inversion here, then any return, I would like to see it sink towards those equal lows, very obvious. And I would be able to get out even ahead of that, so that would be really best case scenario, to be honest. Best case scenario. So let's maybe change the color of this to inversion, because I don't want to use it as a bullish one. Even if it goes and continues higher, then I just rather just leave it do its thing. But I'm more interested in this counterplay type of idea against the grain. If obviously if it would be offered to me, right? It may not be, but who knows? Who knows? All right, so far we are keep making higher highs, keep stretching higher, no problem. All right, so we're touching the lower quadrant here with this candle right now. That was able to be delivered off of this fair value gap here. Let's see if we can get I mean, let's see if we can trade through that level or not. All right, so far it shows initial unwillingness to go above this level. I mean, it traded into it only with a week. Nobody's laid above it yet. But yeah, this is still not enough to frame a setup. Just watching whether we could potentially see a turnaround here. Or not, and it just keeps on going. If that's the case, then that's fine also. I don't mind really. It's not like an issue or anything like that. It's just the logic. Like if you want to be buying such a premium prices at the high of the day, then you can. I don't want to. All right, so it really keeps on grinding though. It really keeps on grinding higher and higher and higher and higher. And I want to wait for that moment where they will go and strike against anyone who is actually buying here. Because I know for a fact that there are people that are buying here, chasing price, willing to hold for whatever target, and I just want to attack those guys because they seem to be like the easy target. And at this moment they are right here. Alright, so far price not able to close above this quadrant here, showing respect. Let's see if we can inverse this fair value gap now. If we can, that's a potential short in my mind. All right, so we are likely going to be trading into it here. Let's see. I mean, so far price is just meandering, so it either does something important by closing below it, or it just keeps on meandering, and I just keep observing. Like it is quite extended here. Not gonna lie, right? It moves a lot. It's at a very deep premium by itself. Can it still keep on going? Sure, but I don't want to be buying. And if that's the case, I'm only left with potential shorts. So that's what I'm trying to frame, and that's the logic why I'm looking for a short here. If I be wrong, stopped out, I be wrong and stopped out, but that's the logic that I'm following here. So let's see, we are trading down into this fair value gap, but I want to see a close below it first. Trading into it like this doesn't really do anything for now. If it wants to continue from here, it can. I don't mind either. So all right, this candle here, let's watch this one, whether it can close below it. If it can, then I like to engage with that as inversion for value gap. That should send us towards those equal lows here. So that's the La Logica that I'm trying to utilize. So yeah, it wicked below it, but it didn't close below it. And as I said, the closure is important for me here. And that's the make or break type of thing. It would need to close below it first, then return. And then I could have been selling. Otherwise, I'm not. Just trying to follow my model here, and that's it. And this relative close in here would be the next draw on liquidity. That sounds rather easy, or relatively easy, I would say, potentially. The next one will be here. That's a little bit more ambitious, but still maybe in realm of possibilities. So we are meandering around in here. We went below it again, but the body came back inside of it, and still no close below it, which doesn't meet the criteria that I'm looking for. So I just wait. Still. So it's like, does it close below this fair value gap? No, equals wait another candle. And then ask yourself again after it closes, did it close below that inversion fair value gap? If no, then wait again another candle. If yes, then look for a return and look for a short. Aim for at equal lows. That's simple as that. Simple as that. Did it closed below it? No. Means wait. Again, there are some shenanigans, I feel like, in here. We went again below it, took the short-term low, and price came all the way up above it here again. So yeah, it doesn't really validate my idea still yet. So I'm just waiting, but nonetheless, it's playing dirty. I feel like it's playing dirty. So now we have additional array that needs to be considered around this, because now we went below it and we left a wick. That's large, relatively large, and it's here. So now I would require not only a close below the inversion, but also a close below this wick. Also a close below this wick to, you know, enter this position confidently. Right now, price came back to this wick and closed at the highs here. So yeah, it's really spending or starting to spend a little bit too much time inside of this inefficiency here. Whether it's going to go higher or lower, that's a little bit on the line, I feel like. But nonetheless, let's see what it does. No one said it's going to be easy. And this type of days, these type of conditions aren't definitely easy. That's for sure. That's for sure. And they require quite a lot more of patience and waiting and stuff like that. And still, trading them might be like catching a curveball. So yeah, it moved away eventually of that higher. So let's see if we can make a higher high in here. That's what I would expect to take out the buy side liquidity on the short term basis. It didn't offer to me a setup that I was looking for and trade higher. Fair enough. I like that. Versus actually giving me a setup and then doing this. I like this option way more, because no position, no loss. But the idea for now, the idea still remains the same. If we can close below this potential bearish inversion for value gap, which currently acts as a bullish for value gap, it's in itself and its first utilization, then and only then I would look for a run on those equal lows and maybe those there. But other than that, I just wait, watch, and see. So it formed a fair value gap, a basic here. And this one is interesting because if it's bullish, this one should never be closed. This should act as a breakaway gap. And there are reasons for that, if it's bullish. So this inefficiency here should never get closed. It could only be touched partially as institutional order for entry drill and never see a body inside of it. Why? Because look at all of this back and forth consolidation. Back and forth consolidation led to this discount array, took sell-side liquidity, and then displaced higher. So if this is really bullish, this should act as a breakaway gap and never retreat even back into it, because that would be the indication that it's still bullish, it's still in rush to reach some higher objectives and stuff like that. If we take the buy side like we did and turn around and close this completely, that's bearish. That's what I would like to see if I would be going short. Right now, I'm just keep on watching, keep on waiting, allowing the price to trade as high as it wants, but at the same time having some key reference points that could maybe help me frame an idea that would have been going counter trend to all of this rally up, right? And yep, a small little inefficiency in here. Let's see how it does. Because if it's bullish, this one should react, right? If it's actually bullish, this one should send price higher and not come back to this one. And so far we are seeing that. So if that's the case, I just do nothing, right? Yeah, we'll see, Koho-san. We'll see. So yeah, we opened with a large premium opening range gap after we moved already a lot. And we technically left all of the sell side in play, and we just kept on taking buy side, buy side, buy side, buy side, buy side, keep on stretching for the whole hour. The first hour of trading was buy side only, right? Buy side only on the menu, which eventually, I feel like this will take off and attack lower. I'm watching now this small little fair value gap here with the idea of a potential inversion too. Because again, I'm not looking to be a buyer here. So let's see if we could close below it. And then offer a touch into it. That would have been definitely interesting to me. Because we've taken buy side. We have this potential inversion for Vega. We returned back into this one, but I said I don't want to see that. So this return back into this isn't necessarily something that I would like to see. And let's see, I don't want to see any body laid above it now. So we did a week above it, that's fine, but the body closed below it. So let's see if we could cover this fair value gap here completely, which in my mind would be reasonable, taking into consideration where we are in terms of the range. But let's see. Let's see. Okay, this close like this is not good. Not good. And yeah, that's a likely stop out here. There we go. Another L in here. I feel like I was maybe a little bit too aggressive about the idea. maybe a little too aggressive. Let's see. Let's see though. But yeah, we've taken the short-term high buy side, and I'm watching this still. If we could go back below it on a closing basis, then I would consider this as a stop hunt, just another stop hunt here on the high, and then it should give way though, which would have been a little bit unfortunate, I guess, if that's the case. But let's see. At the other hand, I maybe was just wrong. Maybe I was just wrong, and the stop loss did its job. That was, welcome. So let's see if that was just a stop hunt above this high, and then it falls. Then, yeah, probably that's just unfortunate. But if it just keeps on going higher, then I was just incorrect about this whole idea. So yeah, so far that was just a stop hunt, and now price is losing its ground a little bit again. And if that's the case, then I suspect that we should cover this busy here quickly to the downside, and it should be more prompt to actually deliver towards those equal lows. That's at least how I see it, how I feel about this. And if that's the case, then, well, that was just unfortunate. And it is what it is. But nonetheless, let's see. So right now we did down, up, we left this to buy side. It should never ever close above it again. The diving and closing this is bearish right away in my mind, and it should lead to further expansion towards the sell side here and here. Let's see if that will be the case or not. And yeah. There we go, we got the retracement back into it, and now let's see if it offers the sell-off. So now in my mind is the time to see it completely lose the ground, which again is quite unfortunate. I will add the execution marks. Okay, never mind. Never mind. I got stopped out with this little wick here. They did another run on stops here. And let's see how this candle will close. Because if it generally closes below this inversion, then I feel like that was just the last bit of damage being done, actually manipulation, and then it should just completely lose ground now. Yeah, that's what I think. So they did like another damage here, and now it should be free to move. Yeah, obviously if it makes a higher high, then I was just incorrect, and that's the and the stop loss was the best possible outcome for me for the session. But yeah, we closed on this completely with the wicks. Any closing below it that's really bearish. Any closing below it is really bearish. Let's see if we can do that even. Not yet though. So yes, the consecutive encroachment of this week on the upside is like the line in the sand. That should not be breached. I feel like if I use this as inversion right now, then 1 tick or 2 ticks above this consecutive encroachment, that's where my stop loss would be. Hypothetically, obviously, right? If I use this as inversion there, stop loss above this consecutive encroachment, expectation, this sell side here and this sell side here. Right, so we are approaching the inversion for value gap here, touching slightly into the wick, permissible. Body staying in the lower half of this inversion. Let's see if it can offer anything to the downside. And first and foremost, it would need to close below this yellow box. That would be indicative in being onside and order flow being bearish. But yeah, not the easiest, again, not the easiest session lately. I feel like every other session is not the easiest, but it is what it is, I guess. And yeah, I paid the price today, and yep, this is what it is. But yeah, I'm not gonna wrestle that. I'm not gonna force my will on into the marketplace if it's not going to perform properly according to my expectations. Then I take the stop. I was just wrong. Then I make a mistake. I made a mistake regardless. And if that's the case, then yeah, this is the outcome I have to accept. It's really squirrely in here. It's really, really, really squirrely. Right, so it failed to reach the consecutive encroachment. I would say that's something that could lead to some bearishness by itself. Let's see if it actually will roll over here or not. We did end up into a consolidation like this, which is ugly and pretty difficult to read. Consecutive encroachment touched, but it's not violating that. So let's see if it can roll over now. Well, canal aftermarket. What can I say, right? What can I say? What can I say? Still working inside the lower half of this week. So as long as we are not closing above it, above the consecutive encroachment, I feel like we could see a little bit of rollover here. Definitely. But yeah, it's quite difficult to read overall within this consolidation and stuff. And yep. But regardless, let's see the 1050 macro here, whether it will offer anything or not. So yeah, I mean, generally, I would say that this piece of price action in here was rather poor to trade overall. I don't think that this was like a very good session to engage the price at all. It didn't necessarily give that much to work with. Even though the difficult conditions, I was trying to outline some ideas that make sense to me. And regardless, I still would like to see price rollover lower here. And let's see if we can still do it, but nonetheless, even if this wouldn't stop me out on the high, exact high, then this manipulation here would definitely get me on this short there. So even if this idea is correct, the manipulation would get me out of it. Which obviously that's a big question mark whether the idea is still correct. And I guess until it's proven otherwise, it might be argued that the sell side here and here will be attacked next. And I would like to see that around here and around this time. So let's see. It should just completely smash right on through this basic here, this yellow box. It should completely offer no support to the price, and then some large ranges should follow. But yeah, that's the best case scenario. If we are rolling over, that was the manipulation, that's the high consecutive encroachment. Can't breach that, that's bearish. This inversion for value gap should not be traded above after we close below it here, and this should be completely smashed. So all of this should be kind of like met if this is actually rolling over from where it is. But again, taking into consideration what we did so far, how it looks so far, it looks pretty ugly. So maybe don't hold much weight to what it does in here, and just observe, because trading this might be pretty problematic, whatever it will do or whatever it will want to deliver. But yeah. So yeah, any close above the consecutive encroachment in here would invalidate the idea for me. So right now I would like to see this inversion for value gap from here, offer resistance, and send it lower. but that's admittedly ambitious. Admittedly ambitious. All right, so let's see. It looks like now or never. So let's see. It looks like now or never. All right, so the inversion for value gap keeps the bodies away from closing higher. So that's a little signature that I like. It offered a little bit of reaction off of that. So let's see if it can continue. And we have still a little bit of time left inside of this hour to see a run lower. All right. I like this little open touch into this and reject and close lower. That's what I would like. But again, price basically end up inside of this consolidation. Very hard to read. I'm watching this as key level, and I'm watching this as key level, and I'm watching this as key level that needs to give way. So a close below it is required ASAP. Meandering around is just not making it. It's just not making it here. But yeah, well, I guess nothing is happening so far. Therefore, this is what it is. I took a loss in here. Using the idea that this will be an inversion for variegap that could or would allow a run towards those equal lows here. Not necessarily even reaching down into that, but towards that. And I got stopped out here rather quickly, taking the short-term high. And I said to myself that that's fair enough, probably. It's fair enough. They did a stop hunt, so then it should deliver. But then they did another stop hunt, but this time way more significant, and I mean way more larger. And yeah, that would annihilate me anyway. and then use the consecutive encroachment to move it lower, use this inversion to keep it lower, and now it's at the level that should give way and actually lose the ground. If it's bearish, if my idea was anyhow correct. But yeah, regardless, that's what it was today. And yeah, what can I say? I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow fresh. So thanks for watching, nonetheless. Kudos to you guys. I wish you a pleasant reminder of the day and see you next time.